Just doing some detailed work around the wiggles and waggles and on the sapwood, and yeah, a couple of tiny little pins there, so I just sort of cleaned out the manky stuff and filling them up with a bit of walnut dust and epoxy because it's the right colour. But I started trying to clean up around this knot. It's actually going to lift out, so I'll pull that out and fill it. That was one I tried to punch through, but it wouldn't actually punch through. Now it's picked it out, so I can clean that out and fill it. I assumed it was something to do with this knot, but I don't think it is. It's on the other side, so it's probably just a little branch that's got broken off and grown over. But I'll fill that. Similarly, this little bit here, I've picked out any muck and I'll fill that with a bit of walnut dust and epoxy. Well, it will help stop a pinch. It will also stop water and muck getting in there. Yeah, let's clean that out. It's not deep enough or manky enough to be a problem at all, but I'll turn up a little plug of yew and glue that in there, just for tidiness sake really. So at the moment I'm just trying to ease off this outer a bit more, slim that tip, try and smooth out around some of these undulations. Yeah, those two little pins obviously came through here. I haven't drilled them right through. I wonder if I should have done, but I think they're alright. I'll probably just melt some wax into that when I've finished it, just to stop any rot or anything getting in there. These tiny ones aren't worth worrying about. It's only when there's really sort of a pocket of black manky stuff that can compress and form a pinch that I need to worry. Now, while the peg was in the lathe, I tapered it slightly with a rasp so that it goes in quite nicely. Load of glue, squeeze it in the vise. I'll leave it. It's only rapid epoxy, but not araldite rapid, because that's brittle and horrible. I'm into the final stages of the bow now, cleaning up the sapwood back, digging out some of these knots, rounding the edges, cleaning off the belly, looking for thick points. That's the knot I've filled. Just cleaning off tool marks where the rasp's been, just scraping and tidying. I mean, that can take off a couple of pounds. It's a matter of sanding off these temporary knocks and putting on decent ones. Now I've got the horn knocks on, they're not polished up yet. I need to look carefully how they're sitting. That one's not sitting very well at the minute. It's looking alright. But I've had a look at the string line now, and it gives me a chance to check it and to see how an arrow sits on the arrow pass. What you want is the arrow to be sort of touching in the middle, and it was touching a bit on this back edge. So what you do is you put your rasp like that, effectively making the rasp act like an arrow, and go rasp, 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 and it flattens off your arrow pass. You can also check that the arrow pass is parallel to the string. If the arrow rides up, it suddenly doesn't get pushed, like if it rode up there, it would be pushed away from the arrow pass. Now you can see where I've been rasping it, and obviously I'll blend that in and tidy it up a bit more. You want the arrow rubbing about there, but a good way to check it is to rub some chalk all over there when you do your first test shots. Right, the bow's been cleaned up significantly, all over the back, the edges rounded, the tool marks taken out, the grip shaped a bit more, horn knocks put on, not polished up yet, decent string made, and I've marked with a couple of bits of tape exactly where the arrow would knock onto the string, and that's where I'm going to pull it from. There, we'll see how it squares up as you draw it. Since she's sitting pretty square now. That's about 50 at 27. So, allowing for a little bit of settling, which bows do tend to do, that should be fine. Now I intend to go roving this morning with my mates, and that should get 30 arrows through it. I'll give it a bit of exercise now. I wanted to get it to a decent draw length before taking it. I didn't want to suffer the embarrassment of having a bow explode on me. There we are. That actually got it to 28, a whisker beyond. 53 I'd say. I took the Yew Primitive roving, shot about 32 arrows through it. Couple of little bits needed tweaking. I could see the arrows were rubbing about there on the arrow path, so I've just relieved that a little. And the grip felt a little sort of rough on the ball of my thumb. But there again, I've got a lot of arthritis there, so I just very slightly shaped it. Yeah, not actually pistol grip, but just relieved it there where the ball of my thumb will fit. Really, it's just a matter of going over it with a file, sandpaper, Danish oil and the rest of it now, and tarting up the horn nocks. It shot very nicely. Decent distance. When I took the string off, it had taken a tiny bit of set. You can see there. It's probably relaxed down a bit because it was yesterday I shot it. So, pretty good. Well, that's it. Totally finished. Arrow pass marked with my little motif. Horn nocks all polished, all shiny. It's had at least 32 arrows through it last Sunday and it performed rather nicely. Let's try and get the final full draw shot. Just check that the scale is correct. 28. Don't want to risk overstraining it, do I? Whisk of over 28, 50 pound. Interestingly, the balance of the bow that's where it would sit in your hand. It just happens to be heavier at this limb, but that's all irrelevant once you're pulling it. Very handsome. I love all this waggle down this limb. Sweet as a nut.